There we go.
Okay,
There we go.
Got the warning.
Thank you, Gary. So welcome to Tangerine SDR and Hamside technical session. My name is Dave, KV0S. And this week, what have I been doing? A number of things. My wife's health is taking a little bit of my time, but I have been working on some KA9Q radio documentation about getting to a point where there's something substantive enough to make it generally available, but it's in a very rough draft version right now. And part of it is I'm learning how to do things as I go through things and put them into the document and look through other people's help files and try to pull it all together in a single source. And eventually it'll be in the GitHub. Phil has been gone to Europe, and he was at the SDR radio SDR Academy, and as Franco said, there are many of those videos are still available if you know the secret key, which Franco passed around. And so that was helpful because I didn't wake up at 2 a.m. to watch the beginning of the meeting. I joined mid-stream. So that was it for me. Next on the list, I have Gary, AF8A. Go ahead, Gary.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Not much to report here. Had a fantastic field day making about 1,600 QSOs off of one radio. So I'm just in the process of rewiring the shack now, getting everything back to work. But back to you, Dave.
Very good. Oh, one other thing that I forgot to mention is a week ago on Sunday, I mailed my Tangerine SDR RX board to Tom McDermott. And after testing it, he said my board did not have the same errors. Well, the errors that my board had, which it did have errors, were in the connector, which was the same problem he had, but they were different pins in that connector. So the pins that were bad in his were not the same as the ones that were bad in mine. So he has two boards. He said the stuff on the board seemed to be functioning well, but the pinout connector is where most of the problems were. So two examples. I think John Ackerman was going to send him a board, and also Majid. We'll find out if Majid did too. So next on the list, David Witten. Updates on your progress of your project.
Well, I've been trying to put together a set of notes each week on what I've been doing, and I can provide that to anyone if they're interested. But I'll be posting all of these things. I sent it to Nathaniel, but I don't know if I want to send it to the list or anything. Essentially, I got a Cypress developer kit for Majid and got it sent off to him, and he should see it anytime after tomorrow, I think, from the way they talked. But you know how they talk. I actually got an additional accessory board too with a CPLD for some experiments that are in that one book. But it's an interesting thing to play around with. but not strictly necessary. I will send it to you if you decide you want it. So I have two of them now. But let's see. Working on, I especially been working on getting the schematic to a place where we can have it as a discussion for ongoing refinement of the kind of design that's used in the RX 888, but tweaked for whatever purposes this group feels are needed. I'm really working not from the RX 888 schematic so much as from what is sometimes in Oscar Stella's stuff called an HF 103. And mostly that's what he calls it. Sometimes he calls it some other things, but I think it's all the same thing. It's one of his earlier versions that only implemented the high HF part of, all the RX 888s have a tuner for VHF and UHF also, but they are, the bandwidth is substantially narrower on that part of it. And so I'm just sticking to the HF part of this and trying to get it down into a format that's editable by everyone associated with, I'm trying to get it into KiCad, whatever you want to call it, so that, it's an open source and freely available CAD system. And so that, we can use it now and in the future for anything that, any purpose that people desire. Trying to assemble all they have all these nice services now that have the symbols and footprints and sometimes the 3D model for every one of the parts that go on your board. And the ones that used to be really a pain to make, now you can just download most of them. And so I've been collecting all of that. They're at least looking at the different designs, the 888, the 666, the BBRF 103, and the HF 103. There are at least 3 different A to D converters that have been used at one time or another in some of these prototypes. I have 2 of them. I have, well, no, I don't know. I don't know how many. There's at least a couple different ones that are in all of those. And then there's the one that Tom has worked with, which is in the Tangerine. I have that one, and I have the LTC 2208, I think it is. That happens to be on a board that might be easily incorporated into a prototype. The original prototypes that Oscar Stella made appear to be rather sensibly made to just kind of, they're dual 40-pin connectors on the Cypress development board, and you can just plug right onto it. And I think that's what he used in some versions of this, and then didn't commit everything to a custom printed circuit board until he was ready to. I'm trying to pursue that strategy for now myself, because it seems like a lot safer than just making a board and sending it off and seeing what doesn't work. Anyhow, I'm trying to get that out the door, and I'm also trying to get at least a spreadsheet or a checklist derived from the original TangerineSDR requirements documents, so that we can see which of those requirements are easily addressable, which of them are more of a challenge, and which of them, are just not maybe not even possible, who knows? But it seems to me that there could easily be more than one variant of this sort of thing down the road without, it just depends on how much consensus there is. But the whole, as I understood the personal space weather station all along, it was supposed to be modular and able to be components switched out for different kinds of experiments in future needs. And I think if we have it in this form, it'll be easier to do that down the road. The interface to a device and a lot of the coding will be offloaded from say an FPGA. FPGAs are wonderful. They are programmable, but they don't get programmed usually much more than once, in my experience, especially in the SDR world. Maybe in the jitters world it did, but they never did agree on anything. Anyway, so that's a lot. I would really like to get a meeting of the parties who might be interested in the things I'm working on together sometime, possibly one night later this week. I don't know what anyone's schedules are like. I'm free pretty much every evening, but we can discuss that. But need to know what A to D converter and what other, there's plenty to discuss, I think. And that's where my efforts are, plus trying to keep the existing magnetometer stuff and the Linode instance working. I discovered that the Linode, I knew it was getting tight, but I didn't discover until yesterday just how tight. It's down to about 98%, well, 2% of available disk space. And so I've got to expand that. And that will probably mean bringing that down for an hour or two tomorrow while I chuck in a bunch more disk space into that and copy everything over. And I've never done it before, so it should be an adventure. But after that, we should be back to normal. That is pretty much it for me.
Okay, very good.
I do have a question.
Next on, go ahead, Ed.
In the changes to the A to D converters and various hardware parts, how much of a change is there to software, and are we going to need different versions of software?
Well, probably. There's the current strategy involves writing something that communicates via USB 3 to the device somewhere in there. Now, it's quite an intelligent device, but there's not a massive amount of storage there. And so writing APIs that would translate everything to look the same no matter what's on the other side, I don't know. But really, we just aren't far enough along to answer that question properly, I don't think. Certainly, it's a desirable thing to have it be as plug and play as possible.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and let a few other people speak. Next is Jim, K4BSE. Any comments, Jim?
Good evening. I'm finally back. I've been teaching a extra class course on Monday evenings, and we did the testing this evening, and all but one person who took the test passed it. I think we had 9 people take it and 8 passed it. So I feel pretty good about that.
Yes.
And, they seem to be pretty satisfied with the course. So I'm back now, and I should have my magnetometer up and running, maybe even tomorrow. David gave me a account on the server this evening, and of course he got to expand the server a little bit. But David, I assume that I select a password, right? I noticed there was none in your email.
Well, I didn't send you one because I really didn't want you to try logging in until
Okay.
I get done with my other maintenance. But yeah, I'll send you one.
Okay,
And
no problem. I just wanted to go on and
you
complete
can,
the task.
I'll send you one and then you can change it.
Okay, very good.
But in fact, I want you to change it as quickly as possible. But yeah, I just haven't done that yet.
Okay, that's about it from here.
Oh.
Getting that up and finishing that class. So I'm back now.
Very good. Well, next on the list is David in 1HAC. Go ahead, David.
Good evening, everyone. Interesting week, not the least of which my father's been in the hospital and now rehab, 94-year-old father, making a recovery, but taking a certain amount of time. I'm the only one of 4 brothers who stayed here on the East Coast. The rest of them are on the other coast. And we've been having a lot of lightning and rainstorms, not a good thing around a radio installation, but I actually happen to have a nice location for that. Most of the time we don't get lightning, but we did have a couple of close ones, and it's supposed to be a week of it, which will be fun. Been working on the college projects, plugging away on the Antarctic KAGO project, and then we've got for Dartmouth another installation going in northern Canada. That one's of interest because it's a magnetic conjugate to South Pole, where we have equipment, and we watch things, hoping to see conjugate events of auroral roars and things like that. And I do have one question about this new project. I thought we were just making an interface for the existing GPS and receiver card, but you're building it to be more generic than that for different converters?
There's no, that's not quite the intent. There's kind of 2 forks. There's the attempt to get the RX888 and optimize it to get it into service in time for the eclipse events coming up, so that there'll be something there. But the other, in the course of getting to where we even have a schematic and we have it in CAD, I'm just trying to make it so that we can discuss any possibilities that anyone cares to. We just weren't able to do that in the past. It was in a proprietary package that couldn't be even viewed on my systems, and it was always difficult. Never have had a TangerineSDR, especially not a data engine schematic.
Oh, interesting.
Never did get it.
Oh.
Nor even a magnetometer schematic, I don't believe, in the end.
Okay.
All right.
Can we go on to
Back to
the
that.
next one is Ed D in 3ED. Go ahead, Ed.
Hi, This is only the second or third time that I've been in on the Tangerine piece here. And I'll keep this short because we're hearing thunder right here, and they're predicting 60-mile-an-hour winds in the
Ooh.
severe thunderstorms.
That's what's coming to Dave.
Yeah, and so we did enjoy field day and operating both digitally and voice, and so that's it. And I plan to see you all at the if not before, at the next either Tapper meeting, which I'm a member of, and also AMSI. See you later.
Okay, next on the list, we have Franco. K4ZV, VC. Sorry.
Hey, Dave. No problem. Good evening, everyone. Just I was thinking about after Joe's comment and someone else's comment is the eclipse is only 3 months away if you do the math, because we are
Yes.
already in June. So I think looking at new hardware is not going to make it in time. I mean, no matter what we do, because 3 months. So I was thinking from the software side, if anything we can improve on the existing hardware, on the existing RX88 and what else, because even for software, if we let the time elapse, it's gonna, be too late. So my question to the group is there any, what does Nathaniel need? I mean, the essential for him to get going, and what can we provide to him, from that point of view?
Well,
That's
one
my
of the
comment.
things that Nathaniel brought up at particularly his talks to the different clubs at the Hamvention was, well, he wanted people to record in a specific way, and he has websites on the ham side for that. But the other thing that has come up is with the K9Q radio, we have the ability to record just bandwidth and then have those recordings for later. And it's the same as you would have with a usurp radio or so if we could work on making sure that works well and people know how to use it, I think that would be a good thing in recording.
From that point of view, Dave, you don't even need the K9Q radio, because if you want to record the whole spectrum, you can just stream off directly the RX88. I mean, you need disk, you need the speed and everything, but
Yes.
it's feasible to do. If the eclipse is like 5 minutes long or something like that, it may be feasible to just dump everything to, the IQ to file and then post-process later.
I think he was talking about 2 or 3 hours worth.
Okay.
Is what he did during the 2017 eclipse. He did it with a usurp type radio. Anyway, let me give everybody else a chance to talk.
Yeah.
Next on the list is Joe, W7LUX. Go ahead, Joe.
Good evening, all. Been spending lots of time with health issues, namely of my big four-legged friend, and field day. Other than that, looking into some way to get the best possible recording for the upcoming eclipse in October. And a friend up in St. George, Utah, KF7YRS, during a fairly recent eclipse, recorded or made a very good recording using, I think, Whisper, and it shows a tremendous peak in the signal of about 19 or 20 decibels at mid-eclipse. So there is information to be gathered on this, and I'm looking for the quickest way to get something going that will help Nathaniel with his various projects. Thanks, Dave.
Very good. And next on the list is Majid. So has Nathaniel left any bits of knowledge for you?
Good evening, everyone. I don't know. this has been a slow week for us in Scranton. I sent just only one RXM RF module to Tom last week. And Robbie, our second student, joined us today to help Rob for this project. So he gets the laptop and all the softwares and RX888. What else? I got my PC and I start setting up all the softwares I need, thanks to Dave. So that is up and running. So we had a meeting on Wednesday with a grape group, and we had Stan Pazerski that he was able to record 3 grapes version 1 that was in they were in a series together, and he was able to record all 3 of those frequencies at once. So in case that RX888 could mimic the grape, basically, to be able to record the frequencies, we are talking to Stan, our student Rob. He had email back and forth with him, so it's going to be some meeting and to see how we could record from RX888, and that would be a good progress, I believe. I guess that's it.
Yeah, the one philosophy of Nathaniel is if you record it and then you can play it back, you can do more extensive analysis than what you preconceive that you might want to know.
You're right. That's the thing. This is the thing. If we record this through this device, and then Kong and his group, they're going to convert this and send it to the website. I don't have the names in my head, but then that would be the idle thing. That would be, the things would be
Right.
ready to solar clips.
Yeah. So Franco just put up there for 2 hours. This is how much, in the, if you look in the
Yes,
chat.
my math is right. It should be 186 gigabytes for 2
Yeah.
hours. At 60, of course, if you want to double to get to 60 to 5 meters, then it will be twice as much.
Yes. So that's the one question that has come up among many people, is if you can do something along those lines. And if we had multiple radios. Dave Witten and I are 2 of the people that have gone crazy. We each have either 2 in hand or 2. I have 1 in hand and 1 coming. Should be here within a week. So, and then I think Majid has multiple RX888s, or have some coming, maybe
We have 3 right now.
3.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a way to leverage that resource for collecting data.
I was wondering, is there a recommended source for the RX888, especially one that's a US?
There was a guy in LA who was buying them. He was a Chinese fellow. My first one I got from him, but he sold out quickly.
I haven't seen any in the US at all lately. I could change, but even AliExpress sites come and go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a number of them on eBay that say they have US stock. I'm not always sure how
You're never
true that
sure.
is.
Yeah, I'm looking on eBay and there are quite a few selling. but some of them says coming from China. The
Yeah.
others don't say.
Right. But you can check the US only, and a few sites do come up, 4 or 5 sites.
Okay.
I was just wondering if anyone had bought from any of those, because it'd be nice to get it sooner than later.
The very first one, which I bought during Dayton weekend, it came from an LA site. The second one I bought is coming from Shenzhen, so
Right.
Now, is the grape being used with WWV or other some other frequency standard station for Doppler, or is it being used for some other purpose?
It's Doppler.
yeah, it's like a particular experiment that
I'm familiar with the grape. I
Christina
just wondered if you were
invented.
repurposing it.
Yeah,
No, it's not a
well, I don't
repurposable.
know. I haven't been going to the grape sessions because I've been focusing on, well, tangerine stuff mostly, and then this changes, and all along I've been wanting to get the KA9Q radio software working, and I now have it working, which I'm really pleased with. And it is a learning curve. It's not a radio for everybody.
Yeah, the grape project specifically is Doppler only. If you're wondering if there's amplitude or whatever, it's the primary data is the Doppler shift.
And this GPS stabilized.
Right. Well, it has to
Yes.
be
Yeah,
stabilized.
sure.
Just as with our AM Doppler, you need
Yes.
good accuracy. Good.
Yeah,
reference.
I've run into this with Whisper. There really is not right now. I'm looking around for a Whisper transmitter that is frequently GPSDO frequency stabilized, and haven't finding one yet.
QRP labs can be stabilized, I believe.
And
Thanks a lot. Thanks for that.
Yeah, they both have an explicit Whisper, and the UDX can transmit Whisper and be stabilized.
And I use a Zactec one that actually has a GPS receiver in the box.
Right. I talked with Zach about that, and he is not frequency stabilizing the transmission.
Okay.
Using it for
Just for time.
For time in order to and really for IDing the grid square location.
Oh, the grid square, yes.
Yeah, but I know that we are the UDX and their regular Whisper can be for QRP labs.
Yes.
And are intentionally able to be stabilized. And I think they're part of the Hampside Eclipse project. One or the other of those. I think they're thinking of using UDX.
Yeah, my wife Gladys and 3DXW and I have gone to a number of Eclipse viewing locations, and I sort of want to take one of these with me to get it right under the Eclipse path.
Very good.
Oh, one thing, I sent it to the Hampside general email list, but the WWV, WWVH information page has disappeared on the Hampside site.
Oh.
Yeah, it's back. It's back.
Oh, did it?
I checked it after I saw your email.
Let me see. Where did my page go? No, I'm still getting the error.
Yeah, you may have some problem with your DNS server or something.
Yeah, because it says something about do not have access to the page. I don't know what access is required, but never had any problem with any other campsite page.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
it just came up really quickly for me.
So
oh, let me try a different browser.
is it under data or resources?
Well, the thing is, there's a page there, but it doesn't, it says, welcome to the www/h scientific modulation working group page, gives the email address for information. And then underneath it says Google 403, that's an error. So the meat of the page is missing.
Yeah, that's interesting. Something weird's going on with, because I see with the title at the top, David, and then I see a survey, but I don't see any of the nice graphics that
Oh,
are on
there we
there to
go.
characterize the signal.
Oh, this is interesting. Yeah, under Firefox, it gives me the error. And under Safari, it gives the survey. Oh, and then, but yes, there, now this one is showing all the stuff below it. Interesting. Yeah, this came up because someone on the VLF remailer noticed this project and was asking about it. And so I sent some links, but I didn't point this one out because it wasn't working for me. But I did give the WWV Radio Club link, which will get you one started on that, and the one to the actual modulation.
I'll have to look at it under Firefox. I looked at it with the DuckDuckGo browser.
Aha. Would that browsers be consistent?
Russell Rock.
And I was doing some quick math, and if you do 60 mega samples per second at 16 bits, it should be under 20 megabytes per second. And on Amazon, I just found the first one for $44, 1 terabyte. It can do 2,400 megabytes per second.
Oh, very good.
So you could record, 3 hours, 4 hours, probably with a little bigger one. And because this way, if you want to do later on FT8, FT4, FT4, FT8, they're all there
Yes,
for free.
Right?
yes.
No, we use many terabyte drives in our research,
Yeah.
and do a lot of this high sampling stuff. We have to do it over time. We just take snippets. But I started in direct to disk sampling. We were doing audio single channel to a 5 megabyte hard drive. That's
Wow.
megabyte.
Wow.
That was a few years ago.
That was a few years ago.
These were not floppy drives, huh?
Around,
So-
yeah, early 80s.
In that time frame, I remember I had a 10 megabyte hard drive, and it went bad. And I was living in Seattle, and I took it to a place and had the hard drive rebuilt. And
Wow.
they did it,
Back then.
and it worked after they rebuilt it. You wouldn't even think of that now.
But what on earth could anybody possibly need more than 10 megs of storage?
Yes,
And that was, I think, on DOS or something.
yes.
Yeah, this was I worked for a company. We made high-end music synthesizers. We
Oh,
were
Yes.
pioneers of the direct to disk, as we called it, sampling audio to hard drives.
in my library a bunch of copies of the Byte magazine, from the 80s or whatever.
Yes.
And you should look at the ads there, like
Yes.
10 megabyte.
Well, yeah, I see what Gary's saying, and it looks like there may be some funny business going on with Google. And that particular page.
Seems to come up okay with Mozilla or whatever it's called, Firefox.
Well, that's what I'm using is Firefox on a Macintosh. There may be a difference, but
I'm doing it on Linux.
Yeah, there's some interesting permissions thing going on here. Anyway, well, I'm
Yeah.
glad I asked and you checked, and it works most of the time, but not for me.
I use Firefox. I've had that problem a couple of times.
Yeah, I'd seen the Ella Kits or Parts website, looked fairly up and up, but it is not domestic.
I bought mine from them. I've bought stuff on a number of occasions before from them. They've always been up and up, as you
Right.
say, but not necessarily roaringly fast.
Right.
Well,
I ordered a 888 and it was supposed to be here tomorrow. And then I find out they sent it via slow boat to, I don't know, Singapore or someplace. It was supposed to come from California.
oh,
I think
Well, that's like the time that this was during COVID, but sent a Christmas presents to my son. I'm in Canaan, New Hampshire. He's in Concord, New Hampshire. We're about 60 miles apart. For some reason, it went through Florida. Postal Service. And it wasn't the only instance of things going on walkabout.
yes.
about that, during that period, I ordered something, I can't remember, from China or somewhere, and it managed to come via Kyrgyzstan and then Accra. It went to Bishkek in Kyrgyzstan and Accra, and then here. And I don't know how you get from Bishkek to Accra, but
Very slowly.
by a Soviet military transport, I think, or Russian one at least.
Oh, I've had trouble with UPS just here in the US. I ordered some machine parts from the LA area and it came here to Phoenix and went on to Albuquerque and then Lubbock, Texas, or maybe it was Oklahoma City and then Memphis. And it just kept on going. It finally got here and they did refund my my shipping fee.
This one took 7 days. I asked
Oh.
them how long would be shipping that time, and then they told me 6 to 7 days, and it was here by 7 days.
That's
That's
not
good.
bad.
Well, that's good.
Is that from Ella Kits or Parts?
Yes.
Ah, well, that's good to know. Maybe I'll just order from there.
Sure.
I can wait a week. But looks like a nice unit to work with, especially when everybody else is writing software for it.
Well, is there anything else? Or should we just call the meeting?
I guess there are no meetings on Thursday. So, but we'll be back
Yeah.
on Monday.
So Nathaniel's at Cedar. I don't know how long he's supposed to be there. Do you know, Majid?
He said he's gonna be there till next week. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Next
when
week?
they
it goes
use-
all week. And
It's all week, yeah.
Gary, you said that there's no meeting next week, right? I mean,
Yeah,
this week,
Thursday afternoon is definitely canceled, and Thursday
Right,
morning,
and
I
then-
think Rachel is out at Cedar too, so I
yeah,
haven't heard. what
Rachel
they're doing
canceled the
there.
morning one as
Yeah.
well.
And then
Oh, did
next
she?
week
Okay.
is it 4th of July or?
No,
It's July 3rd.
well, yeah, you're right. It is.
Is July 3rd. I'm not
We'll
going
see.
anywhere else.
Yeah. That's right. It
Nathaniel-
is already. Boy.
Definitely not going anywhere after last year.
Well, I don't need July 4th. I'm getting fireworks right now.
Oh, geez.
I can hear the thunder rolling in. So
It's my daughter's birthday. She'll be 17.
Oh, boy.
Ah.
July 4th.
That's a big
Yeah.
one.
That's the younger daughter?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've known one person who is July 4th. I know like 5 people are July 3rd. Seems to be a popular date to be born.
My dad's birthday was December 28th. He never got a birthday present in his life.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's,
mine falls in a interesting place every now and then. It's Thanksgiving.
Ah. My brother does the same thing.
Hmm.
It's the 23rd.
The 26th, so.
Yeah, mine's 27th. It can be, I guess it's 23rd to 28th. Will
Hers is
fall
26th
periodically.
December.
Hmm.
Well,
Well,
Franco had to go and
Take care.
I have things to do at 9 o'clock, so I have to.
We'll
out
see
by
you.
then.
okay,
Right.
yeah,
Dave,
I have things to do at 10, but it's the same time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull the plug also.
73
Okay.
all.
Good night.
73.
Good night, everyone.
Dave,
Uh,
Dave, before you run, Dave Larson,
Yes.
where do I find this requirements from Nathaniel? You mentioned
He, I don't think he wrote it down anywhere.